Yeah, I feel good. Back on the East Coast, I'm originally from South Carolina, so Atlanta's not a home game, but it's as close as you're going to get almost. And yeah, I'm excited. My goal is to kind of take a little more time in between fights, but the UFC knows they call me, I'm going to say yes, so we got right back into it.
Yeah. What do you think about the one undefeated guys? He's like, you don't get any easy fights around here, man.
Yeah, he's a beast, man. He's super athletic, pretty big for the weight, got a good wrestling background. He's a little green. He's only had 2 fights in the UFC. I feel like I'm definitely the most experienced guy he's ever fought. I have more fights in the UFC than he has in his entire career, and experience goes a long way. But yeah, he's tough, man. I think the tougher guys I fight, the more it pulls my skills out. The better the guy I'm fighting, the more the pressure, all those things, it pulls something out of me that makes me be great. And yeah, I'm just excited for it, man. Like I said, the UFC knows I'm never going to say no, so they call me with whoever, and we'll get busy.
In your last fight, you fought Julian Marquez, who's a veteran. Now you're fighting somebody, as you mentioned, that's like pretty new face. What matchup or what scenario do you like better? Fighting the veteran that's known, that's been around for a bit, or fighting these guys that have a lot of hype but maybe are a little bit overproven?
Yeah, it's different. I feel like I don't necessarily prefer one or the other. I think they just bring different challenges. I think one of Mansour's greatest qualities is that he has so much confidence, and that kind of carries him through a lot of his fights. I think this sport is hugely based on momentum, and if you can get some momentum behind you, you can go really far. I think we see that constantly in the sport, and he's got a ton of momentum right now, so the good thing about that is if you kind of put him in the fire and make him face a little bit of adversity, he hasn't really been there, and so he doesn't really know how to respond to that, and that's my job on Saturday.
Yeah, you kind of hinted there, but like, what's the game plan, or sort of what you're looking forward to do here? Just like put the pressure on him and put on your grappling game?
I can't tell you the whole plan. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's nothing specific. I think I'm at a point where I'm not fighting guys where I need to be like, hey, this is exactly what I need to do. If it doesn't go to this script, I'm going to be in trouble, right? I think as you get higher in rankings and as you get more skilled opponents, that's something you need to do. But if I just go out there and have fun and find my flow early and get busy, there's not one spot in this fight that I feel like I can't be successful. I think Mansour's best qualities, he has great killer instinct, he gets on top, and he seems to find a way to finish people. So just avoiding the positions where he's really, really talented and kind of putting him in the spots that I want him to be. He's never had somebody push pace on him and be willing to stand in the fire and fight. And if anybody's ever watched my fights, man, I feel like that's where I thrive, is kind of in the chaos, and that's kind of what I'm looking to do.
Yeah, and I gotta ask you about Bo Nickal, because you fought him, so you guys are linked, but what was your reaction to his defeat to RDR, and overall just sort of the backlash that he's received following that?
Yeah, I think we all know what we signed up for. I feel like Bo Nickal, obviously, he's a huge star, so backlash is always going to be there. But that's just part of the sport, man, and he's never had to face it because he's been winning. He's had backlash, but it's hard to really take it seriously when you're dominating people and winning. And it's just something you have to learn and grow from and grow into a little bit, and realize, like, man, this is just part of it. If you're going to be great, there's always going to be people that are hating on you. I mean, and that's not just fighting. That's every aspect of life. Like, the better you get, the more critics and the louder the critics are. And I can't really say. I never tried to say too much about him because he beat me. He had a great performance, so I don't want to sound like a hater. I thought the way he responded to the haters, though, was just kind of childish, honestly. I think, like, you earn those haters with the way you act and the way you carry yourself, just like you earn your fans and you earn your praise. But to come out and be like, man, F all these people who are against me, and I want to show them, like, you're just giving those people what they want. And it took me a while to figure that out. Like I said, it was his first instance, like, really having to deal with it. So I think he'll figure it out and realize, like, man, the way those people feel about you isn't going to affect how you fight or affect who you are as a person. But he's obviously letting it get to him, and I would encourage him to try to frame away from doing that.
Is that one that you, after watching him, like, get his first loss, like, is that something that, like, maybe sparked some interest in rematching? Do you see that and you're like, damn, maybe I could do that?
Yeah, I felt like that night I could beat him, so it wasn't like I felt like I couldn't beat him. Obviously, fighting's a 50-50 sport, man. It's different than any other sport. It's not like football or basketball where the better team is going to win 9 out of 10 times. It's 6 out of 10 at best, and that was his night, and he got it done. But I didn't leave there feeling like, man, I can't hang with that guy or I can't compete with him. So Yeah, I mean, rematches in the UFC don't really make sense really ever unless it's like for a title or a #1 contender spot. So I would never like expect that, but I would have no problem running it back. Like I said, it doesn't really matter who they offer me. I'm always going to say yes and get after it.
So not something you're chasing.
No, definitely not.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Cody, so last fight you finished Julian Marquez in the first round. How did it feel to kind of get back on the right track and really make a statement and prove you're still with the best of the best?
Yeah, it felt good. You know, I feel like just the way that fight went. You know, I feel like everybody was like, man, Cody Brundage, another crazy fight. Everybody at one point was holding their breath, like, oh, here we go again. You know, and to overcome that was cool. It was a 4-minute, 45-second fight. There was about 40 seconds of adversity. Like some people get a little bit twisted. Like it was some super competitive, close fight. Like I was dominating the fight, got clipped. If you watch any of Julian's fights, he's fought some really talented guys. He always finds a way to clip them. He takes a lot of damage, catches you coming in. Kind of what happened to me. That was the hardest way to beat Julian Marquez in a dogfight, and I feel like to do that just proved a lot to myself, and you know, just kind of showed that I'm a dog and I'm tough, and you know, that's something people would question. And I said that the week of the fight, like, hey, that's going to be the storyline. Cody's good, he's talented, but he kind of fades and breaks, and it was my job to prove that that wasn't the case, and I feel like I did a good job of that.
Yeah, you mentioned that you've had a lot of crazy fights. Do you relish being in that situation? Is it something you look forward to?
No, definitely not. You know, it's if I could get in there clean, that would be the goal. I think it would be better for me. It'd be way better for my parents watching, but unfortunately, that's just not our style, man. We just gotta kind of get into it and get after it. And I think I wrote so. I started doing this thing. I would journal and I would write down like, okay. So last fight I broke my orbital, and I wrote down like, okay, every day that I was in pain, right? So it was like 3 weeks of like pain, discomfort, and I was like, man, that was worth it though to get the dub. So now it's just like whatever the pain and whatever it is, I'm willing to go through it. You know, give more, take more. That's kind of been my mantra this camp is I can give more and I can definitely take more. So I think when you have that mindset, it's kind of freeing to go fight, and then whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, so you mentioned you have a journal. What has that done for your mental game in recent months?
You know, I think more than anything, if you can just find things to be consistent with, I think consistency really breeds success. And whether that's journaling, you know, people are big on the ice bath, people are big on the sauna. And I don't necessarily buy into all these things that people do, but I think anytime you can introduce consistency into your life, no matter what it is, I think that's huge for success and structure. And so, whatever it is for you, whether it's journaling, ice bath, sauna, private lessons, watching film, whatever it is, just be consistent with it, and I think it'll go a long way.
Yeah, so last one for me. You're from Chapin, I'm from right down the road in Columbia.
Okay.
Do you have a lot of family members coming to watch you fight?
No, I actually encourage my family not to come to fights, man. I'll be honest with you. Like, I think my dad's coming out, my brother, and my stepmom, but the rest of my family, they're like, do you want us to come? I'm like, no. My kids are flying into Columbia. They're going to stay with my parents. We're going to shoot up there afterwards. But fans do not care, man. They don't care if it's your mama, your grandma, your kids, and I don't want to put my family in that situation because it's pretty ruthless. You know, you mix all this testosterone, all the fighting, and then the alcohol, and it's just a wild scene in the crowd. More than anything, it just stresses me out. So I just tell them, like, hey, get together. Don't go out in public. I tell them all the time, like, don't go to beat hugs because no one cares that you're related to me. And in fact, it'll probably lead to more confrontation. So just hide out, watch the fights, enjoy it. I'll call you afterwards, let you know I'm okay, and then we'll link up after.
Cody, you spoke about, Cody, you spoke about consistency and family. I see you got that ring on your finger, man. Throughout the ups and downs of your career fighting, how important has it been to have a partner that's been supporting you?
Yeah, I think it's everything. I think a partner will make or break anything in your life. It's not just fighting, it's anything that you're doing, being a parent, working in any kind of field. Like, if you don't have a supportive partner, you're kind of doomed from the start. And I'm lucky, you know, my wife, she's been through it, she knows what I'm going through. I feel like I'm very unique in that situation. And the only thing I always laugh, you know, my wife, I'll show her like videos of my sparring, or she'll come watch my sparring, and she'll be like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? And I swear, man, like, this is such a blessing, but my wife, she thinks that I should be pound for pound #1, and I'm like, babe, I just don't know if I'm there, you know? Like, I like that you believe in me this much. She's like, no, you can do it. I'm like, man, so it's good to have people that believe in you more than you believe in yourself, and I definitely have that with her. She's my toughest critic, but also my biggest supporter, and yeah, I'd be lost without her, and it's so cool to just have her on this journey with me and our girls. And when I look back, you know, I'm not going to remember all the fights or all the results, but man, it's been a cool ride, and my life is just really cool, and I'm grateful.
And this fight camp in particular, has there been any word of wisdom or just encouragement that's been kind of like flowing through you as you prepare for this battle?
Yeah, so two things, I think, like I said, give more, take more, and just embracing that, and that kind of fights the fear a little bit, just give more, take more, and be willing to kind of go out on your shield, which I feel like I am. I just repeat it to myself is important, and then you can't pray and worry at the same time. I think that's been something that's been heavy on my heart, and not just this fight, but just like in the last year, I feel like I really found my faith again, and that was something that was important. I just kind of spoke on it before, but I feel like you can be really happy without faith, but I feel like it's hard to have like long-lasting joy, right? Like you can be happy in moments, you can be happy in circumstances, but without faith, it's hard to really have joy because there's nothing bigger than yourself, right? You're just doing it for yourself, and that can be fleeting. And so to have real joy has been important, and like I said, you can't pray and worry at the same time.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you.
What's going on, man? Obviously, you're from the region. You'll be back in this general area. The opportunity for the UFC to come back here to Atlanta for the first time in a long time. What do you imagine that it's going to look like, and how big is it for this region, especially this area, to be able to have a fight card back here?
Yeah, it's awesome. I feel like Florida obviously has a ton of cards, but other than that, like the Southeast, they don't really get too many cards. They were here in Charlotte a few years ago. I was here for that. It was awesome. That's pretty close to a home game for me. South Carolina doesn't really ever get cards. I think one time maybe they had one in Greenville or something, but it's few and far between. So to get back on the East Coast and get after it, I think it's huge for the region. Atlanta's a super cool city, so there's lots to do. I feel like the crowd's gonna be electric, and late night cards is kind of like late night football games. Like SEC football is different. The late night football games is different, and I feel like that's how the card will be.
Just real quick. You mentioned about you tell your family to stay away. Has your family or friends ever had like a weird run-in with a fan or something in your event? Like, do you say that from experience?
Yeah, so when I fought in Denver, I got hit in the back of the head. Everyone's booing me, this, that, and the other about how much of a pussy I am. My mother-in-law, she's a rider, dude, but she's getting into it with these dudes. I guess she got like hit or pushed or something. I'm like, man, I try to avoid having my family there, and it sucks because it would be cool. There's nothing like a live UFC event. I think it's the greatest sporting event you could ever go to. It makes everything kind of pale in comparison once you've been to one. But it just stresses me out to my family. Like, hey, stay away. Don't wear anything that says Cody Brundage. Don't let anyone know you're affiliated with me because, and that's not just for me. It's for all fighters. Like, I went to the Kansas City card. My buddy Anthony Smith, he was retiring. I wanted to go support him, and it just like. People ask me all the time, like, would you ever bring your kids to the fight? And I saw literally 2 rows in front of me, I'm sitting with the fighters, so like as far away from the general population as you can. And like, Ian Gary comes out, he's holding his son, I'm like, damn, what a cool moment. Maybe it would be cool to have my family here. 2 seconds later, they're like, fuck Ian Gary, fuck him. I'm like, dude, never mind. So, yeah, UFC fans never fail to disappoint in terms of their passion. Sometimes it's misdirected though, and so I'll keep my family away for sure.
Double-edged sword, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. We know what we sign up for. It's definitely something you sign up for. I'm not one of these guys who's like, screw them. I can't believe they're doing that. I get it, but I'll just protect myself on the back end.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you.